Is it working now? Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Okay, well, let me start again then. It's fine, it's fine. It's my very first one, and I can potentially edit it afterwards. I don't know. So, hello everyone again. Welcome to. Is this still no sound? Okay, now it works. Okay, I think that kind of like made me feel better though, so I'm relaxed now. But I will start now. So, hello everyone, welcome to the video slash stream slash vlog, whatever this is. So this is the first time doing this format where I will be doing what I would normally do for my videos, which is talk to the camera and tell you about otome games, except at the end I can basically take questions and answer them. So today I'll be talking about otome games that I completed in 2022 and then kind of going through my top 3 of which ones I enjoyed most. But before I start, note that although I would not consider any of what I'm doing in this video as spoilers, and where that some of you may consider spoilers and what I consider what you may consider spoilers and what I spoilers may not quite align. So if you're even a little bit sensitive and you don't even want to know, anything, like not even the blurb that you'd see in the back of the game, then I would swiftly move on. Anyway, let me start. So let's see if this works. Awesome. So the first one is Winter's Wish, Spirits of Edo. So this is about a main character who is able to see sort of like this string around people's necks, and the color of that string essentially sort of shows how that person's feeling. So I could be feeling happy and she would see, yellow on my neck, for example. Now, obviously, this kind of scared villagers a little bit because people don't like, others knowing how they're feeling, that sort of thing. Not to mention, she's also able to see like these black strings that are a result of people feeling depressed or anxious or whatever. So all these strings come together, and when there's loads of them, it turns into these monsters that cause chaos. Now, so of course, she's living on her own, bless her, because people are scared of her. But one day a group of obviously handsome bachelors come along and are like, hey, we need your help from Edo. And so then she ends up joining them because her ability to see these beasts, appear are of great help to them because they're the ones that defeat them. So it's a very kind of like historical fiction type, but I also felt like I was watching like a superhero thing, which I know is a bit weird, but think Hakuoki, but not the Shinsengumi. Instead, it's like a group of guys that, have katanas and are like it's cool and stuff, but they defeat beasts as opposed to being in war. I think that's the best way to put it. Now, I've made a little rating system. So story-wise, I'm not gonna lie, note that these are my opinions, by the way. Other people may feel completely differently, but personally, story, it was predictable, and so predictable that when you could tell that they're trying to make it not predictable, but that was also predictable. So it was like predictable upon predictable. So if you're not that bothered about predictability of stories, then it's not too bad. But for me, I just sometimes felt like it was a bit lackluster. It's definitely a game where if you like the characters, then you'll probably enjoy the game. But if you're like about the characters, as you can tell I was, since I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 for characters, then it may not be like the best game for you. I think it's a solid, good quality game, just for me it didn't hit. Probably because, as I said, the characters I could give or take type of thing. The music was really catchy, and especially the battle scenes, like I was humming it, while I was walking down the stairs or whatever. So it is very like catchy, especially the battle bits and things. But yeah, as for the art, some people find it pretty, but it wasn't to my tastes. Now, the percentage in the heart is basically like how romantic I found the game to be. I would say it's very like, so think of shoujo manga. So it's kind of like you get situations that are really cute and they make your heart flutter, but they are very sweet. But the reason why I haven't given it like a 60 or 7, I mean, maybe 60% would have been nicer, but like the reason why it's not higher is because, well, I won't tell you why, but despite there being these shoujo manga things going on, for a variety of reasons, I felt like it was lacking a little bit. But I won't tell you why, because that would actually be spoilers. Now, moving on to the next thing. Jakou no Laila. Oh, I like this one. So Jakou no Laila is an otome game about a main character. It's based in I think the Middle East. Is that what you referred to? Like, so, you know, it's about this main character who's a spy, and I'd say, you know, there isn't really a huge overarching plot. I guess it sort of is, but not really. It's more about these 3 episodes, each with 2 love interests. You've got European Night, Asian Night, and Arabian Night, and it's more looking at like the life of each of these, I guess, love interests who tend to be princes or kings or emperors or whatever, and kind of Serene, the main character, having to gain information from each of these love interests for whatever reason, and of course they gradually end up falling in love, and it's really sweet. Now this is a very like sensual game, so it's got a lot of sort of spicy scenes and things. I wouldn't say it's an R18 game. Even the PC version, it wasn't like, you didn't see everything. It wasn't like whoa in your face, if you know what I mean. No pixelated bits and pieces, as I like to call it. So it's not that stuff, but it is essential as can be for a Switch game, I would say. Now, as you can see, I gave it a great rating. 4 out of 5 for story. Like, I think it was quite angsty. There were dark bits, and I love darkness in a story, so it was really right up my street. And I think the, you know, plot was, you know, relatively well written, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. Characters, I liked every single one of them, so naturally that means 5 out of 5. I just think they all looked good, they all had good backstories, and there was one that unfortunately I didn't like the root of, but the character himself I really liked. Music, all the music did fit really well for the scenes. Now that's kind of key for me to feel like the ups and downs of a story whenever I play a game. So, you know, the fact that it fit, and oh my gosh, the opening theme, honestly, you should listen to that. It will be stuck in your head for a very long time. Art, naturally, it's by one of my favorite otome game artists or illustrators, I don't know what you call them. But so of course I gave it a 4 out of 5. I wouldn't say it's their best. I personally like Cupid Parasite or Cafe Enchanté more in terms of like their art. But Jakou no Laila was pretty good too. And the main character, oh my gosh, she is so pretty. I love her so much. Now, the amount of romance is 85%. The reason why it's not 100 is because it's at the very beginning, it does start off with Serene kind of using her sex appeal to try and, you know, gain information from each of these bachelors. So it sort of felt a little bit like kind of mean, I don't know. So in that sense, it sort of isn't like max romance factor, because it wasn't all about romance. It was kind of that stuff as well. But it is extremely spicy, and when it does get romantic, it's really romantic. So yeah, it's got a pretty high score in those regards. So, oh, Fortissimo. Okay, so this is Fortissimo. It's an idle game. However, don't expect a very happy idle game, as I discovered the hard way. So Fortissimo is an idle game about a main character who, of course, is a manager, and she manages this idol group called Forte. And of course, each route is her getting to know each of these love interests, but, you know, I was expecting like a nice bubbly, sparkly, oh look, they're doing such a great job, and oh no, they like each other, this is difficult, but we'll get over it. Like, I thought it was an upbeat. Oh no, oh no. No. Each of these love interests have like some issue or problem or another, and it's so angsty. Like, this is probably one of the most angsty games, in the sense that when I think of angst, I always think of like cheating or like other women or like that kind of stuff, as opposed to depressing stuff. So this angst was that kind of angst, where it just felt really uncomfortable, like gritty, and you know, they just, oh, I'm not gonna say what. I did make a I think it's a spoiler review or something. I can't remember. I did do a spoiler review on this game a while back, so check that out if you want more details. But it's like reading gossip, except you're involved, and being involved in gossip is not fun. So, but, so story-wise, since it's such a like just an idol game where it's just, you know, the manager and idol and they have issues, I wouldn't say the story is the best. Maybe I'm harsh. Maybe I should give it like a 2.5 or a 3 or something. I don't know. But it wasn't anything special, I guess. Characters, there were several that I really liked, but several that I also really didn't like, which is why it kind of got to a 3 out of 5 as opposed to like high or low. Music, it's just what you'd expect from an idol game, I guess. You see them sing as a group, it's all very nice. Think of Janny's idol group music. It's not my thing, but I can see people out there enjoying it. The art, I think some CGs are really good, but there were some where the faces looked a little bit elongated. I wasn't so sure about it. So yeah, I think it's cute. It's by the same person who did Brocon and Katakoi Kontorasto. And it's a cute art style, but unfortunately I had to decrease it because some of the CGs did look a little bit odd. But if you're okay with that, and those were like exceptions, so if you're okay with that, then this is great. Otherwise, yeah, it's a bit funny at times. Now I gave it 70% because it is steamy. Like some of the roots, I was like, what's going on? Oh my, what am I reading? That sort of thing, right? So it was really steamy, some of the scenes. But in terms of romance, I guess you've got that barrier of being, you know, manager and idol and stuff. So it was kind of difficult to say. And as I said, some of these, it was, I can't say, but it was just, yeah, I don't know. It is hard to say whether you could argue with like the them being a couple and being romantic would happen way at the end for some of the routes. So I don't know. That's why I've given it a 70% because the Steam has like increased the romance level, but the actual romance has kind of brought it down a little bit. So that's that. Enchanted in the Moonlight. Oh, okay. So this was originally a mobile game. It's by Voltage. Oh, I like to call it how to put it, what's it? Fast food otome game. So it's one of those otome games where, you know, on a day where you're feeling really burnt out, you can't be bothered to read, but oh, you've got Enchanted in the Moonlight, a mobile game that's been ported onto a Switch. It's such an easy read. It's basically about this girl who has this like power that if she this sounds really weird, but if she sleeps or like does anything or bears the child of an ayakashi, then they get like lots of, it becomes like really powerful or something. I can't remember. So they're all trying to get with her because they want the power. And it's fun if you like ayakashi, if you're not looking for a serious read, if you just want a little bit of like spice in a game, then great. But yeah, so that's kind of like the gist of it. As I said, it's a very fast food game, so I'm not giving it lots of points. Story-wise, it's extremely simplistic. As I said, ayakashi wants to get with her, other ayakashi want to get with her, they fight, that sort of thing. Characters, I actually quite liked quite a few of them actually. They're okay. I mean, again, simplistic, but they were still pretty good. Music, it got stuck in my head because it was quite repetitive at times. And art, I mean, the thing is, right, this was a phone game originally, so naturally it's not going to be like the best, but there's nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it. I would recommend this game if you want something like that's quick and easy to read because it saved me from my burnout. Like whenever I read a 70-hour otome game and was like, I can't deal with this anymore, but I need to read something for content, I could read, you know, otome games like this and it would be like problem sorted. So for me, it was great. I've given it 70% because it is quite like spicy and like steamy, but it's not high because the romance initially they've got all emotive, right? And only about 60-70% into the route do they kind of become romantic, which is why it's not like high, but it's not low either. It's like a 70, which I think it's all right. It's all right. Oh, Kings of Paradise. I like this one. Yet another Voltage otome game that was originally mobile. So as I said, a bit budget, but I like the story of this one. The main character is actually, I think, above 30, which is quite rare. I like that. She ends up divorced and is like, oh crap, what do I do? When of course a bunch of rich gentlemen come to her rescue. It's like Hana Yori Dango or Boys Before Flowers, if any of you know of that manga slash J-drama, whatever media you've watched it in. It's like that, but like an adult version, and it's great. I love it so much. So the story gets a 4 out of 5. It's so cliche, but it's a good cliche and I love it so much. The characters, one was so my type that even if all the others sucked, I'd still like adore this game because of that one character. So that alone is a 3, but like there are others that I sort of like too. So it's I gave it a 3 because none of them are particularly distinct, like especially looks wise. But as I said, there was one character I really, 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 really liked, and I think some of you would be able to guess if you've already played this game. Again, music and art, very budget, so didn't really leave much of an impression. I gave it 80% for romance because although there is a slight motive, some of them, like, I think already kind of like the way she looks, or because what happens is they end up signing kind of like a contract of her being a maid, or I don't know, I can't remember, it's been a long time. But so she works for these guys, or one of them, whichever love interest you pick. And then, yeah, they kind of end up falling in love with each other sooner or later, as is always the case. But I really like this one. It was good. I enjoyed it. You can probably tell from the way I keep on saying I liked it. Ooh, Butterflies Poison. That's another good one. So this game is based in the Taisho period. It's about this main character who basically she comes from a very prestigious family of wealth. However, they don't have enough wealth that can support their lifestyle. However, back in those days, working was for the, oh God, you know, lower people, if you know what I mean. So you had these prestigious families that would refuse to work despite them needing to find a source of money. So they'd be like selling all their stuff. Now, as a result, they've got a daughter. They're like, okay, let's ship her off to like some guy so that we can, you know, fix our financial issues. However, one thing after another, bad things happen, and honestly, it's probably like it's so depressing because it's depressing in like a realistic back in those days kind of way, but also in Japan we call it a hirudora or lunchtime drama, where it's dramas where like the most craziest stuff happens in a realistic setting where you wouldn't expect it ever, but it's so juicy and gossipy that you keep on watching, and that's the kind of game this is. And originally it was an R18 game, so you know some of the bad endings are horrific, but I think this got localized in 2022, and that was a Switch version, so the explicit bits are cut out, and it's like R17 essentially. And yeah, I thought it was good. I like the Taisho period vibe. The story was good in that it was very angsty. I love dark stories and gossip and juiciness, so I loved it so much in that sense. And I think all routes were relatively well written and distinct, and I wasn't getting bored, like it wasn't repetitive at all. Characters, I basically liked all of them except one, which I didn't mind. I just didn't like him for, well, some of you know why. But there was one character that I just, yeah, no, because I played the R18 version and I wish I hadn't played this route. Music really fit the theme of like the Taisho period. It really fit this kind of old school Japan vibe, and as I said before, like if it hits the kind of right tone at the right moments. It really like ups and downs my emotions, which is what I want from a game. So I was pretty pleased with it. Art, I think it's really pretty. I didn't see anything wrong, like morphologically when I looked at the CGs. They were all like drawn correctly and nicely and perfect. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. The only reason I didn't give it 5 is because it's not like my favorite kind of art, if that makes sense. So that's why it's a 4. In terms of romance, I've given it 100%. I never like giving things 100%, but I was like, you know what, this kind of does, because you know it's both got the romance as well as the steam, so it's like max. So yeah, that's Butterflies, Poison, Blood Chains. Oh, love Pheromone. I love it how I'm like surprised about these slides. I literally made them today. But Love Pheromone is my very first mobile otome game that I actually completed, which I'm very impressed, because normally with mobile otome games I play like a route or two and then I kind of stop. Sometimes I don't even do that because I don't know, I guess it's like the format of playing, it's just not, it does, I get distracted more, or like I'll get notifications, like I'm more easily distracted. But this one I actually managed to complete and I was very proud of myself. It's about this girl who releases this pheromone that attracts people, and it's quite a steamy game. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't really expecting it, but she's a training to be a priest, I think, and she ends up trying to work at the palace, but there's this queen who's called the Queen Bee, and she releases a pheromone also that attracts loads of people, and there's also this dispute about why the main character has it and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, there's like a killer out there. I don't know, it's very, very chaotic. I don't know, like it's all over the place really, which is why I've given it a 3 out of 5 for story. Characters, I liked all of the characters and I thought they were all very pretty and I liked their personalities. Music I've left empty because I played this game with the music turned off, so I don't actually know what the music. So I'm gonna have to rely on you guys to play this game. So yeah, no, I don't know what the music is and I can't lie, so I've left it blank. Art, I thought all the characters were drawn so pretty. I loved it so much. Obviously, I can't say anything for the background, but like because it's a, you know, mobile game. But yeah, so the art is really pretty, for the sprites and stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. I was really surprised. I think I paid about £5-6 for this game. Normally if I play a mobile game for a bit and I enjoy it for a few hours, I'm happy to pay like £5 or whatever. My max is like 20. That's the absolute max I'll pay. With this one I paid about, I think, £5 or £6 or something, and then that allowed me to skip all ads and like gave me a few gems to get through, and every time you get through one route you'd get like however many gems, and I'd watch the ads without watching them, so I'd get the gems. It all worked out, so I was actually able to complete it without spending too much money, which is good. I gave it a 75% for romance because I think all the characters are pretty like into the main character for one reason or another. Some obviously more than others, but it wasn't like there was an ulterior motive or whatever. It just felt very like smooth, like they were in love, great. But in terms of spice, obviously there's like description of them like almost going the whole way or whatever. Note that the translation is hilarious at some points. I've taken screenshots and sent it to my friends because it's so ridiculous. Like it's a laughing point. So if that bothers you, this may not be the game for you. But I think, yeah, it was fun. I don't know. Yeah, I liked it. Oh, Shinobi Koi Utsutsu. This is a good one. So this is about a main character who's a ninja, or wants to be a ninja. So she's like an aspiring ninja. One day the principal essentially not hires her, but recruits her to this prestigious ninja school, and she discovers that she's got this thing called Mero Mero no Jutsu, or the Jutsu of Mero Mero, I guess. Essentially, if her heart rate increases too much, it goes poof, and she releases this like pink mist, and everyone around her, all the boys, fall in love with her and whisper sweet things in her ears. Now this is probably the kind of otome game you want to play when you're exhausted, because like it's so mindless. You just play it and like you just don't really need to think. I'd say the one thing downside is that it got a bit repetitive. In Japan we call it a kintaro ame, because kintaro ame are these sweets where if you cut it, wherever you cut it, you've got the same picture, because it's like a picture throughout the whole thing, but wherever you cut it, you have the same kintaro, this character. So we use that term to refer to games that feel repetitive at times. Like think Nightshade or Birushana, if you've played those two, they can feel a bit repetitive. So it's a bit like that. So, but it's just really sweet, and I like how the characters would tell you their real thoughts. So how they seem on the surface is different from like what they actually are, and it's that gap that, oh my god, I love it so much. So story, nothing like significant. It's just about this girl, you know, who goes into this ninja school, which is why I've given it a 2 out of 5. It's not like anything amazing or impressive. Characters, I like them. I don't know why I gave it a 3 out of 5. I'd give it a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5. So scratch that and let's make it a 3.5 or a 4. I think they were all really good fun. As I said, the gap between what they seem like they are and what they say when they end up receiving this smoke and falling in love with her is so different, and that gap is amazing. Music was fun. Think of just like your stereotypical ninja slash sort of Japanesey music. It was good. As for the art, I love it so much. It's so pink, it's so sparkly. And so I'm giving it a 3.5. Like it's just really pretty. The main character looks pretty, the boys look pretty, everything about it is pretty. So I'd say romance-wise, it's 80%. It's extremely high because, you know, they say really sweet, adorable things. The only reason why I didn't like max it out is because obviously a lot of the time, at least for the beginning, they're only saying nice things and in love with you because of the pink smoke. So like the mero mero no jutsu, or the jutsu of mero mero. And so that's why it's not 100. In terms of steam levels, it's not really like super spicy or whatever. Like there are some scenes where it's like I I think it's Zero D, which is Zero C, which is R15. So I think there may have been a makeout scene. I can't remember. My point is, it's sweet, but not that sweet. So yeah, that's Shinobi Koi Utsutsu, and I think it's good. It's a good one. Oh, Niru Admirari no Tenbin. So this one is about this. It's set in a world where there are these, if there basically some books hold these powers. It starts off with the main character. She basically ends up sort of seeing her brother read one of these powerful books and then setting everything on fire, and that causes her to awaken this power of being able to see the auras of books, because these powerful books really sort of release like what looks like a flame, or an aura as they call it. And due to her discovering this power because of what happened to her brother, she ends up being hired by, I can't remember, what are they called again? Basically, it's a group of people that work for the government to discover these books that are considered dangerous. Naturally, her little brother started a fire, for goodness sake. And yeah, so I think I should have gone in to play this game with less excitement. So the issue I had was that so many people around me were like, oh my god, this is an amazing game, or so many people on like Twitter were like, oh, I really want this game localized. So in my mind I was like really hyping it up. I was thinking this must be like amazing then, because everyone seems to want to, you know, play it or want it localized. I'm not gonna lie to you, the story it didn't leave much of an impression, because I felt like the main character was mostly either cleaning where she lives, cooking miso soup and breakfast, or complaining about the fact that she can't find any books with auras around it. So it felt like the first maybe 70%, bearing in mind a lot of people like this, so I may get roasted for saying this, but like the first 70% of each route felt kind of like a bit like a common route of Olympia Soiree maybe. And then the last 30% is when everything happens. So, you know, each route obviously you're supposed to learn about the different love interests, and you do, but it just all seemed to happen suddenly right at the end. And the first bit was just watching her sort of feel disappointed. Like, I really like the main character. I think she's so sweet. She's one of those girls who's like so sheltered and all of this, but wants to, you know, become an independent woman, that sort of thing. I think she's really adorable, but she just there was just so much walking around the streets and then cooking miso soup. So that's why, unfortunately, the story did not leave much of an impression. Characters, I think there were two characters I enjoyed. Yeah, two I really enjoyed, but the others I felt were a little bit too simple, and especially the designs and stuff as well. I think Satoi, they're a brilliant artist, but I think with this they didn't have that much like detail in all the characters and things. And I don't know, I think that may have been the reason why I wasn't as interested as I would have liked to be. The music is really pretty. It wasn't like spectacular, but it was pretty, which is why I'm going at a 3. The art is really pretty, and I like this scratchy art style, but I think it doesn't help that I'm comparing it to like the character designs of Olympia Soiree, or like, I mean, Olympia Soiree is the main one that comes into mind, but and some of the designs for Tengoku Struggle, for example, like compared to that, I felt like it was quite simple. I guess it is earlier on, if this game is relatively like, well, it's got a PS Vita edition, that sort of thing, so it's relatively old for Satoi the artist. And yeah, I don't know. As I said, this is how I felt. Maybe I should have gone in with less kind of expectations, then I would have enjoyed this more. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really leave much of an impression, unfortunately. I'd give it 70%, because the romance happens probably in like the last 40% of the route, maybe 30%, I don't know. It wasn't that, some, I guess you could say it's sort of steamy, but it doesn't really, it, yeah, I don't know, it's really weird. Like, you know, in Pure Fiore, you see Lily, like, about to, like, maybe do whatever with Yang, and it just it actually works. Whereas with Nil Admirari, I felt kind of like, and yeah, get it over with. I really don't care. Let's continue with the story. Like, I didn't really feel the romance, which is why I'm going with 70%. Even if Tempest. So this is the very last game I completed in 2022. It is about this girl. It's like a witch hunt type game. It's based in a world where these witch hunts happen, where this Witch of the Ruin character comes along and puts a spell on someone. They go around murdering people that they hate or something, I don't know. And then there's a trial held where random people are sort of made to seem guilty, and then they all kind of decide who, like, the civilians essentially vote on who they think the murderer is, and they keep on doing that until they actually manage to get rid of the witch or the murderer, essentially. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed this. It's by Voltage. It's the very first console release for them. Like, it wasn't on phone, but literally for Switch, and it had voice acting, and it was really pretty. I honestly love this so much, as you can probably tell. Um, and I just really liked how dark it was. It felt kind of like, if you're into crime TV, like, you know, Criminal Minds, and like things where you watch like someone, there was a murderer and this happened and that happened. If you like that sort of thing, then this is so good, because the things that happen feel like something that a killer in real would do sometimes, where it's like a psycho killer stuff happens, and it's just really messed up. And then there's also like a Danganronpa-ish element where you become, you know, one of the suspects or whatever, and then you have to like get evidence and tell people about, you know, who you think is guilty and all this, and be part of the debate. I thought it was well done. So story, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5, because I really enjoyed it. The only reason it's only a 4 is because I feel like it needed a couple more hours to develop the story, because it was quite rushed. The characters, so although I like the characters, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, because I felt like I don't know. I just felt like they didn't give us enough time to truly enjoy the characters. So although I really adored some of them it ended and I was like, what the hell happened? So it was a bit. I wish I'd had more time to get to know them. Music is amazing. For me, I love the music in this game. It just fits so well with all the like situations, and it's like all this gothic sort of Western orchestra music. I love it so much. So that's why it gets a 5 out of 5. Art, I think it's pretty, but it's not like, let's say Satoi or Yuma, or like it's not, Radiant Tail or Olympia Soiree. It's not like a significantly beautiful art style, but it's good. It does the job. There's nothing wrong in the CGs. It's great, which is why it gets a 3 out of 5. Unfortunately, the romance score is a 40%. This game is definitely a plot game. Don't get me wrong, you do get a kiss CG, I think, for every single love interest, I think, at the very, like at moments, but like it felt very, the romance pacing was so quick. As I said, they probably should have made it a bit longer because it did feel kind of rushed, which is why I'm giving it a 40% in terms of like romance level, because really you don't get to enjoy the romance so much. It's very much like this is the plot, they throw you in it, and it's really good for that. But if you're looking for like butterflies and things, it doesn't really it doesn't do the job. Also, I forgot to mention that the main character has this ability to go back in time by basically, yeah, killing herself. So it's quite depressing, but it didn't really feel depressing in that she gets so used to it, she just does it. It's almost like she goes, oh, I'm back in time now, if you know what I mean. So it's not really like, it doesn't seem that bad. But it's a special power and it gets used several times and it's a key part of the story, and it's good. It's good. So now my top 3. In third place comes Butterflies, Poison, Blood Chains. I really enjoyed the story of this, the aesthetic, the romance. I think all the characters were good. It has some of my favorite tropes. And I just think it's such a solid game where everything about it I really enjoyed. I mean, it did take me ages to complete because I played it on the PC, but yeah, I can't really fault it too much, really. Yeah. Second place is Jakou no Laila. So same comments as Butterfly's Poison, to be honest, except the reason why it's second place is because I like the art style more. But they are both really good games. As I said, Butterfly's Poison is localized. This one is unfortunately not. However, I think I heard that it got localized in China, I think. So I'm like, come on, does that mean English is possibly a thing? I have everything crossed. And then number 1 goes to Even If Tempest. It's not as solid and well made as third place and second place, so it's definitely not as like quality wise good as Butterfly's Poison or Jakou no Laila, don't get me wrong, but for me personally, I gained the most enjoyment out of Even If Tempest because of the plot. So yeah, that kind of is my top 3 and the games that I played last year now, I guess. And yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable. And so now we go to question time. If any of you have any questions, I would appreciate it if you ask me now. Cool. Okay, now I can read chat. I noticed you guys are actually talking quite a bit, which I was quite surprised. I was like, oh my god, hopefully this actually works out. I think I did miss quite a few bits of information probably because I am kind of speaking from the top of my head. But I'm trying to think of, so let me go through my list and let you know which ones are unlocalized and which ones are not localized, because I completely forgot to put that information in. As so Winter's Wish will be localized sometime in the future. I can't remember if it was next year or the year after. It's on my server, the information. Nil Admirari is not localized, it's unlocalized. You know what? I should just tell you which one's available in English. So Butterfly's Poison available, Even If Tempest is available. Love Pheromone is available in English. It's a mobile game. Enchanted in the Moonlight is available on Switch. Kings of Paradise is available on Switch. Winter's Wish is, I think, next year coming in English. And yeah, so those are the ones that you can play in English. So that's kind of like, you know, is that I heard how you get to one live route and it's not my style, too angsty. Yeah, because how it works is you play one or the other. I think you have a choice for the first one, and then it automatically goes to the next route and then the next route, because it's supposed to be like a loop where you go back in time and then you experience a route and then go back in time. But I think the flow does make sense. Even if Tempest does need a physical, even though I've already got it, I would immediately buy it. Undateables. Is Shuen no Virushu as fun as Even If Tempest? So Shuen no Virushu, I would say, is a similar kind of category of darkness, but I think Shuen no Virushu was better quality. The art is absolutely gorgeous. I would give it like 5 out of 5, hands down, in the art section. If you can get past silly explanations, so it's like a fantasy slash sci-fi, but the sci-fi, if you can shrug off things that are ridiculously explained, like where you're like, that doesn't make sense at all, but okay, if you can like move on with that, then you'll probably enjoy it. And if you like bad endings, you'll like it. I would say it's similar, though. Even If Tempest actually grossed me out more than Shuen no Virushu, and I think it's because Shuen no Virushu feels very like fantasy, whereas Even If Tempest, the things that happen in it, you hear of done by psychos in real life. So that's why I think Even If Tempest actually grossed me out more than Shuen no Virushu. Winter's Wish says this spring. Oh, okay. Thank you, Hattori. I appreciate it. Any less known game like indie or something JP only, which you think is great? So I would say Club Suicide is an indie game that is really like, it's like literally trigger warning. Well, it's in the name, Club Suicide. It's about a group of people who pledge to, yeah. So it's really depressing, but it's an indie, and I think not many people have played it, even though I think I haven't played it personally, but it's on my list of games I really want to play, because the concept, I'm like, oh my god, that's so whew. And there's a couple of, I will probably be playing a couple of indie games that I feel I had to do a lot of Googling to come across. So I probably will talk about those at some point in the future. With music, so supposedly it's a huge missed opportunity. They could have used it to enhance the romance tenfold. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are getting well, in Japan, apparently there's going to be a fan disc. I don't know if they'll release an English one at the same time like they did with the main disc. I'm hoping the fan disc has more romance. Okay, Casey, I may consider. I haven't played many indie games yet, so I do need to play more indie games. But once I do play lots of indie games, I will do this again. Older otome you think could be picked up like Clock Zero? Older otome games. I'm trying to think, what have I played is the question. I've heard lots of good things about Clock Zero. So I think Clock Zero would be good if the, you know, what the reviews say are true. Older otome, like even like things like Wonder Fortune or Brothers Conflict, or games with a bit of gameplay, I would like them to pick up. Or any like Tokimeki Memorial, the girls' side Fourth Heart, for example. That's not old and it's new, but I feel like they should pick it up, you know, like it's so good. Shakira. Yeah, you can answer questions about old otome games. Yeah, I've heard Clock Zero like breaks everyone's hearts. So that's definitely like, I don't know. Oh gosh, sorry. Just like Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of any older games. I always like when I think of older games, I always think of like the ones with gameplay, like Wonder Fortune. Oh yeah, Jack Jan. I forgot about that. I'm wondering if Jack Jan is does well. I wonder if because it's Broccoli that's the developer, right? Which means that Uta no Prince-sama could potentially, I'm kind of hoping for that because I know there are a lot of fans out there. Hi Nayama, welcome. Konami likely have no interest in license. That's the thing. I'm so sad about that. I really wish they were like interested in licensing out Tokimemo. I know the first three heart status broken. Sudan Digit. Oh my gosh, my favorite. Yes, Miller, you probably watched my video and remember it from that. Which reminds me, it wasn't that the video before last. I think I spoke about underrated Japanese otome games that I wish were like more known. So I guess those are kind of like the lesser known ones. Vampire Knight. Oh, the DS game. So good. Who made that one period game with 3 settings that hasn't been localized again? One period cube? Period. Oh, as in like sort of old school. 3 settings? Hanayori Dango? Wait, there's a Hanayori Dango game? Oh my god, Jack Jan music is just so. Oh, I love it. So I need to go back to that game. I've got 3 more routes I need to play. See, this is the thing. This I had to make this a otome games I completed sort of video slash stream because like when it came to games that I'm currently playing, the list is like what was my favorite limited edition I got this year? I quite like the Pure Fiore. I mean, I haven't bought many. Oh no, I like the Tengoku limited edition. I was really impressed with the Tengoku Struggle limited edition because it had its box and it had so many goodies inside. I was really excited. I did do an unboxing video, by the way, if anyone wants to go and check that out. You hyped me so much with Sunandiji. If only we could make petitions that. Oh my gosh, imagine if we could do petitions. I'd be like, guys, come to my channel and watch me talk about this so that you choose it. Old again. I love Revolution. Oh, Storm Lover. That is so nostalgic. I think Storm, like, I know I said that, was it Hakuoki and Shin Hisui? I can't remember the name of it, was my first otome game. But looking back at it, I think Storm Lover may have been my very first otome game without me realizing it. I just thought it was a dating sim, which I thought was a different thing. Right, that one girl. Like I'm playing so many of the. I tried to at least finish one route before moving on to the next one though. Where we can vote on a publisher or developer website, but right? I mean, it would make sense because it means that many people want that game, which means it'll probably have the highest. Oh, you mean the European night, the Jakou no Lyla one? Is that the one you're talking about? That one's developed by Otome. It was called the Triangle Project. Alice in the World also. Oh yeah, Alice in the World of Hearts, Alice in the World of Diamonds, Alice in the World of Spades. Apparently, Alice in the World of Spades has been confirmed for localization in China though. Kenkamancho Otome. Oh my gosh, I love that game. As some of you may know, I'm not sure. I had to take down my brother's conflict translation videos, but the Kenkabancho Otome ones are still up if you want to go to the playlist and watch and cringe me doing commentary while playing it slash having the translations up, which by the way are not proofed, so there'll be like spelling mistakes and things. That's the thing. It needs to be ported to Switch. I think if it gets ported to Switch, we have a chance. Oh, Quentin Rose. They really pushed the boundary of Serodi with Queen Rose. Like I remember playing School Wars and being like, is this allowed? I know everyone was so excited for Kenkabancho Otome, and then no one got it. This was when I didn't play many Otome games yet, but I have been told of the major disappointment caused as a result of that teasing. Such a shame. We've been getting almost all the Otome games. Edit, okay. Yeah, you don't you have to like download a patch or something? I'm not very tech savvy. You and harder language, at least I can understand around half of them. Yeah. The otome market has grown so much in the West though. But yeah, I don't know. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this format. I'm not sure. Like this is what I will probably do from now onwards. At the moment, my mic is like a terrible quality, but at least the one at home is good, so it will be a bit better quality. I enjoy this format more because I like talking to you guys as well. So at the end, I can like interact and stuff, which is like the bit that as I've always said, I made my channel to get to know more otome fans at the end of the day, so. You could date three at a time at the same time. There was so much innuendo, female allies mod. Yeah, Quinn Rose was wild. The only thing though is that it was so wordy. Like the main character thinks so much. Like I don't understand why she thinks so much. It's just like she thinks over and over and over. She'll be thinking about, oh, should I lift this cup of tea in this way, or maybe I should drink a little bit of this tea, or like things that you don't really care about. She'll be talking about. But I don't know. Anyway, if there are no more questions, then I will probably end the stream here just because I don't know. So if you didn't manage to make this video, so if you're watching the VOD of this and you have a question, feel free to comment it below. And obviously comments mean like a lot of help for me as well in terms of exposure. So I'll end this video/stream with a question. What was your favorite otome game that you played in 2022? Anyway, as is always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!